Wow. Hello, good evening, and welcome to class. My name is Anete, and this is our weekly data analytics class. This class, which is the part 2 of the complete data analytics project, which is data modeling, what we cover in this part 2, is a continuation of what we did last week. Last week, we did data cleaning. If you have not watched the video, I would advise you check my previous videos to actually get that video so you can continue from that point up to this point. As our custom, we always say welcome to everybody that is in class. So please, if you're in class and you can hear me, just say hello or say loud and clear. Let me know that the volume is okay, that our audio is okay. So Bet Prosper, you're welcome. Olani, you're welcome. Noti, you're welcome. Anuzuliki, you're welcome. Samuel, you're welcome. Chibuzo Kafo, you're welcome. Comfort Chinelo, Abu Hawa. I think I got the pronunciation. Okay, if you can hear me. Okay, Comfort Chinelo said loud and clear. I need one other person to confirm. Loud and clear. Tunde said hello. Okay, good. I got feedback that the volume is okay. So let's start into the class. So today we're looking at something in data analytics that you need to get to like an intermediate level for you to appreciate what we're doing. So when we're given a data set like the one we're given, we have this intent of working on the data set directly. Now, it is advised that you split your excuse me, that you split your data set into fact and dimension table, which is what we're doing today. Now, I took time in one of my previous videos to talk about fact and dimension tables and to talk about the star schema and the normalized and denormalized templates. So I would advise you to check that previous video so that you can be up to date. In today's class, I'm getting straight to practical. Another reason why you need to check the previous video, because some of us in our systems, power pivot is not activated. So when you watch that video, you see how to activate your power pivot. So I'm getting straight to Excel and I'm working with it. Now, if you have questions, no problem. Somewhere within the class, I'll pause and then ask you to come up with your questions. So let me bring up the screen and I'll share my screen with you. Then we'll go with it. Okay. Now, this data set is a continuation of where we stopped last week. So we cleaned the data up to this point. So we'll take from here and then continue for the rest part of the analysis. Like I said when I started, that if you don't have, if this is your first time joining us, please check the previous video after how we came to this point. We cleaned the data and we got to this point. So you can follow up with us as the class is on. And to give us more space, permit me to take my face off the screen so we can have full video, full class video. So the lower part of the screen will not be blurred. You can all see as we discuss. So, okay, let's start. Let me get to Excel and then let's pull it up. We're asked to analyze this data. It's a HRO data set, and the company said they want to give a promotion to those that have served for some couple of years. So we want to look at it and then say if we should, or if they should, and then how they should go about it. Now we have the employee column, employee ID, the names of the employees, departments, and then the salary, the start date, the age, gender, state of origin, marital status, years of experience, and promotion status. We have about 80 rows of data. So what we need to do now is we need to break this, we need to model this data in a way that it is lighter for the system to carry, and it is faster when we click refresh or when you work on the data sets. We can take this data set from here and then work on it. But I want to do a sample. I want to make a copy of it. Then we'll work with the copy of the data. So let me just simply create a copy of it. Click on from the header point, say Control A. Make sure that the header is also copied. I do Control C, that is copy. I do Control Let me Control A again. I make sure that I carry from the header, make sure that this header is included in the copy. Then I Control C, then I Control N to do new. Then I right click here and I say paste special so that it paste without the formulas. This date column just changed. So let's just simply format this to say change it back to dates. Yeah, okay, give us the data. Let it be that the date column is as we have it in the original data 5/15/2018 and 2017. 5/15/2018 and 2017. Okay, so and just make sure this one is currency. We keep it back at currency. No decimal place, leave it at dollars. Okay, or we'll just leave it this way. Now, so let's load this data to Power Query and then we'll start the modeling. So click on this and then say Control A. That means we select everything again. And then we say, we go to data and we'll say from table range. So this is another way of loading your data straight to Power Query. In last week class, I told us how you can load the data to Power Query using a different method. This is also another way of loading your data directly to Power Query. Okay, so this brings us to Power Query. So this is what we want to do. We want to create two sets of tables. One we will call the facts table. Now the facts table is more like the main table where we have the KPIs, where we have the numbers, the numerical values, and then we also have links, keys to the other tables. That's one. Then two is we have the dimension table. Dimension table is more like the description table where we have the text and other items. And like I said when we started, you need to check my previous video to really appreciate what we're about to do. Now, on a beginner level, a beginner will clean this data as it is, just exactly this way. But in more like we say the advanced or the expert level, what we'll do is different. In the advanced level, we'll do it in a different way. What we'll basically do in the advanced level is to split this data into different sets so that anything that has text and has descriptive data will be in a particular table. Then we'll carefully make sure that our measures, our KPI values will be on a particular table, and we'll call that the facts table. And there's a theory that numbers load faster compared to text. So like I said, there's a previous video, watch it and you really understand why we're doing this. So this table is already cleaned, but we'll just touch it a little. Remember the ID, we just update the ID to text. And though I'm doing this in your own, you can continue from where we stopped in the previous video. I'm just doing this because I want to work with a clean sheet. So I make sure the money is in, the salary is in currency. I make sure the start date is just date. And what again? The age, the gender, the state of origin, all of these, okay, they are all okay. Promotion, years of service, everything is good. So just start soon. Now let's start. So this will be our main table. Now, how do we create the dimension table? Let's start by creating the dimension tables first. So how to create the dimension table? Right click this table and then let's say duplicate. So we come here and we say dim. We want to start with the dimension, the department. So we say dim department. So the idea is this, that in this particular, you see this table is the same thing like the first one, but this one is dim department, meaning this department is a descriptive data, and we don't want this text to appear sales, human resource, marketing, finance, and operations. We don't want them to appear in the main table. We just want numerical version of this data. Okay, so how do we do that? Now that we have created this dim department, we right click on department and we say remove other columns. This will leave only the department column. And in this department column, what information do we need? We need the 6 departments, but like we can see, they are all in duplicate format. So we right click it and then we say remove duplicate. It will reduce everything to just 6. Then we need a numerical interpretation of this data, a numerical equivalent, so we can bring in a primary key. So we'll go to add column and then we'll say column from 1. We can drag this here to set it as a primary key. To set it before, then we'll say DEPT, that's department underscore ID. So this will be the primary key for that particular column, and it's advisable to keep your data type as text. This is what is called a dimension table. You can see that this entire department, this entire column, department, we have reduced it to just this 5, to just this 6. So whenever we want to call department in our analysis, we call department from here. The difference is this table will refresh only 6 rows. This other table will refresh 80 rows. In terms of speed, it's faster now because you have this the items broken into smaller parts. Okay, the second one we want to work on the next column, which is what? Salary. Yes, the salary is a numerical data. So click duplicate, and then we'll call this, rename it to dim salary. And we right click on the salary and we say remove other columns. Yes, the salary is a numerical data. We can as well leave it on the main table. But in our dashboard, we want to have the salary in different ranges. We want to have very low salary, high salary, and very high salary. And we can't take those words, very low or high, to our main fact table board. So that's why we want to put it on a separate table. Then we'll link it. So the salary column, right click on it and then say remove duplicate to give us a range. So the salary, we have ranges from the lowest. We can see from here that the lowest salary is 45,000 and the highest is 55. So we can create a range for the salary. So let's do that. We can come to add column, then click on conditional column, and we can create different ranges. We can say what we'll basically do, we'll say for the salary, if the salary is less than or equals 47,500, let's say the person has a very low salary. If the person's salary is less than or equal to 50,000, we'll say the person has a low salary. And if the person's salary is less than or equal to 52,500, you see the person has a high salary. Anything outside that, the person has a very high salary. So what did we do here? We said check the salary range from 45 to 55. We broke it into 4 equal parts. In statistics, we call it bins. So we broke it into 4 different parts, and we gave them equivalent of very low, low, very high, and then very high. So we click on OK. So we have the salary in these different parts, and then we change this one to text. We change the data type here to text. I've done this with the salary. Now we go to the main table again, and we do duplicates. This time we do for the dates column. So the interesting thing is, with this, you can do a lot of analysis, and it will help you when you're building your KPIs. So for the dates, we just right click on the date and we say remove other columns. Now we then remove duplicates. After removing duplicates, we can start pulling out figures. So let's bring out year from the date. So with this, we have extracted year. So you can see 2018, 2017, 2016. The years they are there. So this data is from 2016 to 2021. Good. We click on the start date again. We want to extract month information. So we can see the name of the months. You can see all the months listed here. And then we can also from here extract what is called the name of the day. So we can say name of day, whether it was a Monday or a Tuesday, and other bits of information we can get from the dates column. Okay, we go back again and we do duplicates. This time we want to work with the age column. So let's call it, rename it to dim age. Now in the dim age column, yes, the age is also numbers, but we want to create the age range for people so that we can analyze it easily. Okay, so we can say remove other columns. Then we can come here and we say remove duplicates. You can see the age is between 26 and, if we click here, it's between 26 and 40. Okay, so we can simply come to the conditional column and say let's create another range so that it will help us when building our charts. So we'll say age underscore the range, and we can start from that any age that is less than or equal to 28. We'll say the person is between 26. Person is between 26 and 28 years, and any age that is less than or equals 31. The person is between 29 and 31 years. Let me reduce the space here. Okay, the next one again is age. Any person that is less than or equal to 34, the person is between 32 and 34 years. We add another one, another conditional state, another conditional column. Anybody that is less than 37, that means the person is between 35 and 37 years. And every other person is between 38 and 40 years. So with this, we have captured every person in the different age categories that we have. So this will take care of our age for us. Then if we go again, we say duplicate. This time we want to work on the gender. Okay, we want to work on the gender. So right click and then say rename, say the gender, and we'll click enter. So we hold on the gender column and we say remove other columns. We right click on the gender column and we say remove duplicates. It will give us just these two, and then we go to add column, go to index column, we say start from one, we drag it to the beginning and we say gender underscore ID. Yes, and then we change this to text because it's the primary key. In this case, we'll right click again and then we go to duplicate another column. This time it will be state of origin, so we just call it dim states, and we come to the states. When we work on the dashboard, I'll show us how to use map. We'll actually use map in this particular dashboard for this project. You will enjoy the next class, which is about dashboard. So remove duplicates, we do that, and we have all the states. We'll just create a reference column for this one also, and we'll bring it to the beginning, and we'll say states underscore ID. So we have how many states? We have 24 states listed in our project, and then we also have another one. Let's see. We have states. Okay, we have marital status. So we'll rename this one to dim marriage. You can just call it away. You can name your table any name that is easy to work with. So we come to this point and we say, oh, sorry. So yeah, so we come to this point and we say remove duplicate to give us just 3, and then we'll say from 1, we drag this one up to this point, we say marriage underscore ID, and then we change the data type to text. I think this one will be the last one. So dim duplicates. This one will now carry these two information, the years of service and the promotional status. So we call this one, we rename it to the promotion. So, and we enter. So in this case, we need these two. So click on this one, click on shift, hold the second one. We need the 2 of them. So right click and then say remove other columns. It gives us okay, so let me check what just happened. So click on years of service, click on promotion, right click and then say remove. Oh, I'm supposed to say remove other columns, sorry. So come back again, click on this one, hold on, shift click on this one and then say remove other columns. Thank you very much. Now this is our main area of concentration. So it is on this particular column that will say remove duplicates. You can see some persons worked 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in the particular company. So we'll do something. We'll add a conditional column. We want to add an extra column for people that are entry level and then mid-level and then upper level in the company to also be part of this. So we can as well add a conditional. We can say we can call this the person's level in the particular company. So we can say if the years of service is less than or equal to 4. So anything, so 3 and 4, we'll call them entry-level employees, people that are worked between 3 and 4 years in the company. Then we'll also say people that have worked between 5 and 6 years, we'll call them mid-level. Then people that are due for, that have worked 7 or 8 years, that's people that are due for promotion, we call them upper level. This will also help us in case we want to do an additional chart aside this chart that is on promotion. So we have this, and then we change the data type to text. At this point, we can then, we're through creating all the dimensions. So we have a dimension for department, we have a dimension for salary, we have a dimension for date, we have a dimension for age, we have a dimension for gender, for state of origin, for marriage, and then for years of service and promotion status. Then we can then call this one our facts table. So just rename this one to our facts table and I press enter. So we have, with this main table, we have created dimension tables from them. So the next step we want to do now is we will do this. We will create, remove every text. All these texts will take care of them and allow only measures, facts-related data to be on this table. So I'll pause at this point and then I'll take our questions. So let me bring this one up. So let's talk. I know we have questions. We have lots of questions. So let's look at the questions quickly before we proceed. You can ask your questions at this point. You can ask your questions at this point. So let's take the questions. So I'll quickly look at the questions, then you can go on with it. Let me start with somebody said, I'm really late. Okay, you can always, please, what data set are you using? It's a continuation of the class we did last week. So check that particular class and then get the video, check the class of last week. Okay, somebody said, I can see it's part 2 of last week. Yes, it's part 2. Yes, Mr. Jonas is part 2 of last week. Okay, so your questions, you can, let's take 1 minute, ask questions before we go. For the state ID, you didn't change the data type. Is there a reason? Excuse me. So let me see. While I'm checking that, please, somebody just, for the states. Oh, okay. So thank you for that question. It's there's no reason, so I'll change it. It skipped me while talking about the class. So we change the data type in the state ID to text. Okay, any other question? If there is no question and we're okay, please just say continue. Somebody should type continue so that we can move on with this. If I have 1 or 2 persons say continue, then we'll move on. Okay, Mr. Manuel said continue on that note. So let's go on with the class. Thank you very much, Mr. Debayo and Mr. Olaniyi. Okay, so let's continue with our work. Now, the next thing we want to do, we want to merge these tables. After we merge them, we'll then create the relationships. So let's go ahead, let's merge the tables. Okay, so this is where we stopped. First thing, I'll go back to the table. Someone mentioned that the state ID, in the states, the ID is in numbers. So we need to change it to text. So I'm then and I change it to text. Thank you for the observation. Let's check all of them. Promotion. Yeah, this one is number is okay. Text, number, Yes, dates. Yes, salary, number, department, text. Okay. So now how we merge the tables will come to the facts table. It's in the facts table that we do the merge. And one condition to merge is that the data type must be the same. That's why if you check, we try to maintain the data type. So for us to link department table and this other department table, the common column between the two of them is this one, department. So this particular table, the data type in this particular column must be the same data type with this particular column for the combination for the tables to merge. So I come to the facts table and I go to home and go to merge queries. So in merge queries, we just click on merge queries. So the common column, we want to merge the facts table and our first table here, which is the departments, is this table. What is common between them? Department is common here and department is common here. So we, with these two selected, if we check here, the selection matches 80 of this, and we click OK. So when we click OK, it will bring up this dim departments as an extension. So click on this extension, and for me, I always turn off this use original column name as prefix. What happens is when it brings out the new column, let's say it brings out a column called department ID, to call it dim department dash department ID. So no need to write this additional. So that's why I turn off this one. Then which information in this new table do we need here? We don't need the name department, that is HR, human resource, or sales, or information technology. Instead, what we need numbers. So we just click on departments and then we say, okay. So it will create this department ID for us. This department ID now replaces this department. So at this point, we delete this column called departments. So that is how to do it. Let me quickly turn off something. I just saw something on the screen. Okay, like this. Okay. So we go back to this. So we have done that one. Oh, I was supposed to remove this before now. So let me remove it now. The name column, we don't need the name. If we need any book plus any staff, we'll get the staff information from the ID. Okay, so we just remove the, no, we don't need the name. We have done the first one, department. The second one is salary. So still on the facts table again, go to home, go to merge queries. So what we're doing, we're joining, we're merging. For those in SQL, you know about the joins in SQL. So this time we want to work on the salary. So click on salary. What is the common column? The common column is salary ID, salary ID. Now for, like I said, those in SQL, so this is the left outer join that we're doing. So 80 of 80, the match is correct, and we click OK. So we have joined the table, click the extension. Which information do we need from the salary table? We simply need information about the salary. So click on salary USD and then say OK. Then we come to this point and then we remove the salary. Okay, so the next part we want to join now, we come again to it, merge queries. This time we want to work on date. So we go to dim date. And what is the column? The common column is the start date. So we click the two and then we say OK. And then we open the extension and we say we only need the start date. Okay, and we click OK. So we come here and we remove the start date. Then we go again, we click on merge queries. And this time, the next one we want to do is age. So dim age, and we merge the age column and the age column. The data type, they are the same. And then we click OK. Which information do we need from both tables? We only need the information about the age. So we have the age there, and then we come here and we remove the age here. Okay, we still continue, we merge again. This time we want to merge the gender. So dim gender, the common column is gender and gender. We click OK. And we open the expansion. What do we need? We need the gender ID. Okay, I'm seeing the spelling there. The spelling there says gender. Okay, that's interesting. We'll change that. So click OK. So we have that, and we come to this point and we say we don't need the gender. Then we come to merge queries again, and this time we need to work on the state. So dim states, click on dim states. The common column is state of origin, and we come to the extension. What do we want to link? We just need the state ID, not the name of the state. So it is linked, and we take off the state of origin, and is again. I think we have one or two more. So this time we want to do the marital status, so the marriage. So we want to link marriage to marriage here. And what do we need as our additional information? We need information about the marriage ID. And we come to this point and we take off marriage. Then the last two merge queries. This time we want to talk about years of service. So we're linking promotion. So the years of service here and the years of service here. Data type is the same. We say okay. So we come to this point, and what information do we need? Only the years of service. And we say okay. Then we come to this point, we remove the years of service and we remove the promotion. And we say remove columns. You can see on this particular, our fact table now is complete. See what we have done to the fact table. We have removed all the text, and we only have numerical values and links to, that is IDs, to these other tables. So we have merged all these tables. So in working with this now, this makes your data very clean. It makes your data lighter, increases the processing time of your data set. When you're working with somebody in a team and the person says you do this, it shows that you've gone beyond the basic level of data cleaning or data modeling. So with this, we have created these models, these different data sets. So at this point, we close and apply. So, okay, let's get into the chat section again. I'll take some questions quickly before we go. So, okay, so let's take some questions. Okay, so questions before we continue. Let me see. You can quickly ask your questions before we get to the final part, which is how to create the relationship. So most of us have heard of entity relationship diagram. This is part of what we are doing. Most of us have heard of database and schema. This is part of what we're doing. Okay, what informed you about what column to be your dimension tabs? Okay, columns that have description. Let me give you another instance. For those that have worked on supermarket software, now you see that there is a table that has information about the receipt. And then there's another table that has information about the products. So when you come to buy an item, they will simply just call the table that has information about the item you want to buy. When I mean information, maybe the name of the product, the category of the product, the quantity that is available in the shelf, the supplier of that product. These data sets, they are not included in the interface that has information about the receipt. That's why when they print out the receipt for you, you don't have let's say you buy milk, you don't have information about who supplied the milk or the category of the milk or all those other things. No, that data is stored as a dimension table because it contains descriptive information about the item. So any data set that has descriptive information about the item, you put to another table. That's number one. Number two, most items that have duplicates, you put them to the dimension table. For example, if you check the gender column, you have male, female, we have male, female, male, female, a lot of male, female, 80 times. So instead of to leave it on the main table, why not pull it out to another table where you only have male, female? So the male and female now will just be 2. But if you leave it on the main table, if you're working with a row, let's say, for example, 5 million rows of data, and you have the gender column, now whenever you click refresh, the system will refresh the 5 million rows of data. You just need information about male or female. Maybe there's an update or something. You click refresh, it will refresh the 5 million rows of data. But if you pull this male, female into its own table, now you have only 2 rows. When you click refresh, it will refresh only 2 rows. If you look at it, The one with 2 rows, that means the system will process faster. So any item that meets these 2 conditions and other conditions, we put them to the dimension table. Okay, another question is remove other columns and unpivot column the same? No, they are not the same. Pivoting and non-pivoting is different from removing columns. Okay, can actually generate several tables from a data set in order to model. Yes, that's what we just did. Okay, I want to assume no other questions, so let's proceed to the final part. Now, the last part now, I want to introduce us to power pivot. Most of us, we already know pivot table, but we have not touched power pivot. Most of us, we know of power query, but we have not touched power pivot. So with pivot table, you can model one table. With power pivot, you can model multiple tables like we have in this case. In one of my previous videos, I showed how to activate power pivot. Please just watch that video so you'll be on the same page with us. Is this trying to mimic what is applicable in SQL? Somebody said, yes, in SQL you have what is called join, left join, right join, and other types of join. Yes, that's what we just did. Okay, so let's proceed to the last part of today's class, which is where we want to do the build the relationships. Now, you remember this class is a 3-part series. Last week we did the cleaning. Today we're doing modeling. The next part we'll do the dashboard. I'll tell you, don't miss the next class. It will be very interesting. It will hold on Sunday, same time, 7 p.m. You can as well invite others and you can as well practice along with us. Okay, so let's get to these last parts. Good. So we have our data. When you click close and load, it will load the data to Excel. So you can see all the tables. Let me close this. You can see all the promotion table, marriage table, state, gender, and all of the different tables. Now, let's come to the fact table. We want to load this into Power Pivot so that we can create the relationship. So click on the fact table and then click on Power Pivot and then click on Add to Data Model. So when you click on Add to Data Model, it will call up your Power Pivot. So you can see Power Pivot is running on top of Excel. So Excel has these additional features. Like a lot of persons sent me messages during the week that after last week's class on data cleaning, they did not know about Power Query, that cleaning can be so easy and so fast. Yes, as you keep practicing and expose yourself to this, you will keep improving. Then number 2, Excel is upgrading and there are a lot of new features. I'm using Excel 2021. That's why I tell people that if you can, avoid Excel anything less than 2019. Because if you're using anything less than 2019, you may not have some of these additional features. So with this, you can easily model this data. That's number 1. Number 2, a lot of us are used to index match, X lookup, V lookup, H lookup. I can't remember the last time I used any of this. Index match, X lookup, V lookup, H lookup. I can tell you that within the last 1 year, I have not used any of this. Why? Because if you know how to use your pivot table and your power pivot very well, you can work very well, as in 100% without these. I'm not saying these things, you don't need them. You need them. There are instances you need to call them. Are we together? Yes, if that's your environment, play with them. I'm just saying that there are options in Excel that makes the work faster, easier, and better. So that's why in my classes, I am not so much interested in index match or VLOOKUP. Even when I'm asked to handle interview for a company, I don't ever, not by mistake on it, I don't ever ask any question on VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP and XLOOKUP. Why? Because the questions, you can answer them with pivot table and power pivot. And if you can answer them with these things, why bother with trying to cram and master a lot of formulas? Okay, back to our discussion. So this is our power pivots. We need to bring all the tables into power pivot. You can see table 1, fact table is listed here. So let's just take all the table. We'll go to the departments, bring up our power pivots, and then we say add to data model. That's the second table. If we go to diagram, you can see that we have just 2 tables. So let's keep it here. Let's be bringing the tables. What I did, I clicked on diagram view, and you can see this. A lot of persons don't know that in Excel, you can see your data in table format like this. Some persons only know of this in Power BI. So we'll go to the salary table, and then we add this to data model. Good. Then which other table again? we go to the dim date table, and we say add this to data model. Good. And we go to the dim age column, dim age table, and we say add the table to the data model. Okay, then we go to gender, add this to data model. And we go to state, and we say add this to data model. And okay, we have marriage and promotion. So we go to marriage, and we say add this to data model. And then we go to promotion, and we say add this to data model. So we can visually work with all the tables. You can see all the tables. You can adjust them. You can move them to any direction. Okay, so for me, when I work with my tables, this is where I prefer that my fact table is standing separate. So let me just shift them for space so that we can see what is happening clearly. Now, how do you link the tables now? So it's very easy. Drag the particular item that is linking the tables from one table to another. The direction does not matter. Let's start with this dim date. What is the link between dim date and dim department and the department table? Is the department ID. So we link the department ID. We have linked that table. So this is a one-to-many relationship. Okay, the dim date. What is the link? It's the date and the date here. That is what is creating the link. You can see that is a one-to-many relationship. That is one date can have, that means one date can have many persons employed on that particular date. That's the meaning of one to many. Then in marriage, this is the marriage ID. So we link. So you must drag it and place on top of it for the link to be correct. You can mouse over to check that your linkage is correct. So salary. So salary is to salary here. So drag this and link it to salary. To create another one to many. Then gender. Oh, so our gender ID. So gender ID to gender ID. Okay, then years of service to years of service. And then our age to age. And then our state ID to state ID. So with this, we have just created a data model. So this is what is called a data model. I hope we enjoyed this class. We got the points clearly. From this, what the benefit of this is, if I need information about any of these items, do you get? So if I need information about ID, I don't need to call all these other tables. Do you get? Because it will slow down my system. If I need information about departments, I only need to come to department table and call departments. Like I explained earlier, what this will do is to make your system faster. So I'm not going through all the tables just because of I'm checking for department information. I'll just call only the department and I'll get the information. So we'll click on data view to come back to the data view. We can go to the facts table. Then from here, we can begin to create our measures, our KPIs. So from the next class, let me just create one or two measures because in next class, I'm not very sure if we'll create all the measures. So let's say one of the things we want to check the total number of employees. In this class, it was not part of my attention to teach us how to write DAX, data analytics expressions, but it's part of the things. It depends on how the week goes. It may be part of one of the things I'll talk to Ross next week. But I know that dashboard has already been designed as next week class. So let's create measures. Measures, we want to check the total number of employees. So let's say employee count. We want to count the total, or let's just say employees. So if we put colon equals, then we can call in a DAX function called distinct count. And what do we want to count? We want to count the total number of employees. So where do we have it? Let's do employee ID in facts table, double click on it, and we close the bracket, we press enter. So what it will do, it will give us the total number of employees that we have in the company. Let me see, it's supposed to appear somewhere around here. So let me do it again. Go to distinct counts, employee ID and the facts table, close the brackets. Okay, yeah, so that's it. Total number of employees, 80. Okay, I think it did not appear first time for any, I don't know why, but employees. Okay, so we can do other measures. Do you get? So this comes as our measures, and we can do other things. So we save it now, and just save this and keep. Now, if we want to start modeling our data, which is what we'll learn next week. Now we'll come to the facts table. Now, before now, when we model, we say we model from pivot table, but now we're not working with a pivot table because we're not working with just one table. We're working with a model. A model is more like a collection of tables. So instead, we'll say pivot table, and then we'll model from the data model. So if we click from data model, it will ask us create a new worksheet, and we say, okay. Now you can see now that we're seeing all the tables in just one place. And if we click the fact table, we'll see the measures we just created now. So if we click here, we'll see we've created a measure called employees. If we drag the total number of employees and want to check employees, now you can see that I'm in the facts table. I can go to another table called promotion to check those that are due for promotion. So if I click here, I'll see promotion status and I drag it here. I have it that out of the total number of employees, 27 are due for promotion, 23, 53 are not due. If I need another information, let me copy this and paste here. Let's say I want to check the different departments. I can come to another table called department and I simply drag this. You can see now that in terms of data analytics, one of the key things is how fast can your system be? Do you optimize your system? So what we just did now is one of the things called how to optimize. So what we have done, we've optimized the system that it's faster compared to before. Now, if we need information like we just did now about the promotion, we're not allowing the system to process all the tables, all the columns of data. Instead, it will only go to that particular table that is needed and process it. And like I said, one, it makes your work organized. Two, it makes the whole process faster. And it shows that, yes, you have gone beyond the basic stage of data analytics. So thank you very much for today's class. It was an interesting one. And like I did mention, this is a 3-part course. The next class will be on how to build the dashboard. You will enjoy the dashboard when you see the finished work. That's number 1. Number 2 is the assignment we gave last week. I've seen some persons do the assignment, and I've also connected with them on LinkedIn. Those that did the assignment last week, just look out for it. By the time I do the one-on-one class with those that did the challenge, the competition, you'll be invited. That's my own way of encouraging you, of appreciating you, taking time to go through what we have done. Now, for today's class, your assignment is this particular data. Go through the video and build exactly this. Put it on your LinkedIn, especially your LinkedIn, and then tag me. I'll also share to my network too that see your building stuff. That's one of the ways to develop yourself. I told you the other day that don't put open for work on your LinkedIn. Instead, build projects and then put it on LinkedIn. So build your model like we have done here. Build a model. Build a model. Let me bring up the model. So build a model and then share. You get, let people see that you're building stuff. You're actually growing. That way you get to attract people to show that, yes, you can do this particular thing. Then finally, if this video was helpful, please, I recommend share it on your different platforms. Tag me, invite your friends to join us in our next class next Sunday. So let's take final questions before we close for today. Okay, so let's start from here. Can we apply this advanced data cleaning dimension tables in a situation we are provided with different tables? to create fact tables. Yes, you can have more than one fact table. So if you have a data set where you have, let's say there's a data from accounts department, and then there's a data from HRO department, and then there's a data from the different departments. You can bring these three together. Yes, so you can bring all of them together and combine them to create one single data set, one single model. So somebody said, good evening, please, I came late to the class about last week data cleaning my standard column. Let me see, what's the person saying? Last week data cleaning my marital status column, my return as orders throughout. Please, how can I correct this? You did not trim the column. So Stella Maris, you did not clean the column. So the system is still reading space in that column. So just go clean that particular column, that is marital status. Your conditional column will automatically work. Okay, Jonah said, yes, so my brother, we are on the same page. Okay, till now I have not been able to create that marriage. Yes, when you do your conditional column, remember we trim the data first. Trim means there are empty spaces hidden between. So if you don't take care of those empty spaces, it will give this error. Okay, somebody said, can I get the data set, sir? Yes, check the video of last week. It's a continuation of our class for last week. So why did we leave out the name column while creating the dimension tables? Yes, we can as well create a dimension table for the name table, but to create a one-on-one relationship, that's one. Two, we're trying to optimize. Optimize means things that are not so important, we can take them out. We have the employee ID, and only one employee can have one ID. So that means if we reference the ID, we can call the employee. So to reduce the number of columns, that's why we had to take that out. Okay, somebody said, thank you so much. Somebody said, please, what was last week so one can flow from there? Last week we did data cleaning. Check my previous video, you follow up quickly. And I really enjoyed the class. Thank you very much for this feedback. Somebody also said thank you. Okay, please, everybody, thank you so much. And I appreciate you for joining this class. Now, Port Harcourt, I've been in Port Harcourt for about, I think about Lagos. We had a class in Lagos in March. So March, that month, we were in Lagos, and I promised those in Port Harcourt I'll be in Port Harcourt in April. So this April, I was in Port Harcourt, I handled some classes. Now, if you're in Lagos, I'll be in Lagos from next week, and you can come in for the classes. Now, we have data analytics classes in Port Harcourt and in Lagos, physical classes, then we have online classes. If you would love to join any of these classes, I would recommend you call the admin. You call her now to just book your seats, including the class I'm coming to handle in Lagos on starting from Saturday. You can, this is the phone number of the admin, 0034730987. That's the admin's number. You can call and then be part of the class. Okay, so other questions. Somebody said, sir, can you update your advanced data analytics class? Yes, we're working on it. We're through the class. Is the uploading of the video. My apologies to all those that have got the advanced course, but we're almost through with it. You can see that we have done the dashboard. It's the PowerPoint part that is remaining, because I told us I'll teach us presentation techniques in that particular class. Okay, somebody said, thank you so much. I would like to join the SQL class if it's available online. Yes, we have SQL class available online. Like I said, please call the admin and should take off from there immediately. Somebody said, thank you for the correction, sir. The class was impactful. Thank you. I will connect personally. Okay. So once again, that's the phone number of the admin. Whether you want to, we have data analytics using Excel and Power BI, level 1. We have data analytics using SQL and Tableau, level 2. We have data analytics using Python. So these 3 levels, you can just call the admin's number, 08034730987. Call to connect with us immediately. A new class is starting tomorrow on upper Monday. You can just call to confirm if you can join that class. Then if you're working weekday and you want to join weekend, we have classes that will Saturday, Sunday. But if distance is an issue, you can also join the online class. For everybody that was part of today's class, thank you very much. If this is your first time, remember to hit the subscribe button and then hit the bell icon. Kindly share. A lot of persons did shout outs on LinkedIn, share their work. I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate that. So please, I want to encourage us too in this class. Continue to do that. That's a way of encouraging us to keep doing what we're doing. So until next Sunday when we meet again, have a great week.